let's go ahead and do the same thing this time for our film flowers. So let's go ahead and bring our film flowers over. I'm gonna call this film flowers. And so I was thinking that what we can potentially do is bring over our film flowers where we positioned everything. So is this piece of code. And then we'll just not have the filter option. And we'll just have everything being rendered in kind of that forest layout. So I think that might be fun. So let's go ahead and do that. So the very first thing that we're going to do, again, is create the SVG. And then let's create our script tag again. And I'm going to stop fighting Code Sandbox. It's like, okay. And the first thing we want to do is we need to go ahead and load in the movies data for us. So in our observable notebooks, I had already loaded in the movies data separately, and then so we were able to just access it in our notebooks. But in here, because we're starting from scratch, we don't have the movies data loaded in yet, so let's go ahead and do that. So D3 has some options built on top of fetching. One of them is .json, and it makes fetching JSON. It goes and fetches and then turns everything into JSON. There's another function called d3.csv that does the same thing with CSV files. So it just makes it very convenient to load our data. And I have our movies data already loaded or already saved here in our directory. So let's go ahead and call that .then. And then copy over our code here and then go ahead and figure out how to translate everything over. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to copy and paste it over into copy and paste it into our block that already has our movies data loaded. So here we are, and now we don't have, now we also need to go and get this calculate graph function. So I'm gonna take out that line, and let's go ahead and grab it from this into our visual channels that we can use to draw. And so I'm going to grab everything in this calculate data function. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to bring the whole calculate data function over. And we'll calculate data and pass in movies. We should hopefully see. Oh, wait. All right. So let's call this function. I'm going to do it this way. And then we should hopefully be able to see something being drawn to the console, which we're not seeing right now. So let's see what's happening. I'm gonna go in here and console log movies. Okay, perfect. So we're seeing that things are being console logged here. We have our color scale. It's because we need some of these arrays to be copy and pasted over to. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go get all of these arrays. So those we can find in our workshop utility functions. So we have our top genres. I'm gonna just paste that right outside of our function. Const top genres, and we need to go get our petal colors, and we also need to go get our petal paths. So I'm gonna be copying and pasting for a little bit. Do const petal colors, and we have petal paths that we need to go get. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, petal paths. I'm gonna take this part out. Okay, perfect. And then let's see. Now we should have all of these variables resolved. We have movies being calculated. And so hopefully now we should have, let's take out this console log. Now hopefully we'll have, still no. So let's figure out where it's going wrong. Ooh, look at that. Okay, calculate grid position. Ooh, okay. So I knew the film flowers one was going to be a little bit more complicated to copy over, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and find our calculate grid positions. Let's see. Calculate grid positions. Oh, actually, we don't need our calculate grid positions anymore because we're using our force layout to position everything. So we can just, we can take that out. Let's see if, there we go. So that is everything we needed to copy over. And now we have the objects with all of the information that we've gotten so used to seeing, and with the colors and the paths. So now that we have that, perfect. So let's call that, and then now what we need to do is go and copy over the graph calculation. So let's go and copy this over. And now we should be able to, let's see, say const graph is equal to, oh no, hold on. So now we need both the filtered set of movies and the filtered set of flowers, but because we're not doing our filters right now, we'll just pass in the movies data, the whole movies data set that we already have, and the translated flowers array. So let's go ahead and change this around a little bit. And so we're going to pass in our movies array, our flowers array. Let's go ahead and replace this movies part and this flowers part, or into flowers. And now I believe we have, let me see if there's any Okay, so SVG is not defined, and that's the only error that we're having now. So now we'll go ahead and calculate our flowers array. And so that's our calculate data movies. And then we're gonna go ahead and get our graph. So our graph is equal to calculate graph and pass in our movies and our flowers. And I'm going to console log the graph just to make sure that that's being calculated the way that we're hoping for. Oh yes. So I'm just going to pass in, yes,